Hey, good day to you. This is Todd, and this is episode 16 of Regular Dude Walking in the Word. And today we're going to be reading from Mark 1, verses 23 through 28. Yesterday we covered verses 21 and 22. And today I'm actually going to read those so you know the whole context of what we're getting into tonight. Because Jesus had started out, he went into the synagogue. Well, he's still in the synagogue today. Let me go ahead and read that. It says this. They went into Capernaum, and when the Sabbath came, Jesus went into the synagogue and began to teach. The people were amazed at his teaching because he taught them as one who had authority, not as the teachers of the law. Just then a man in their synagogue who was possessed by an impure spirit cried out, "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know that you are the Holy One of God." "Be quiet," said Jesus sternly. "Come out of him." The impure spirit shook the man violently and came out of him with a shriek. The people were all so amazed that they asked each other, "What is this? A new teaching and with authority. He even gives orders to the impure spirits, and they obey him." News about him spread quickly over the whole region of Galilee. And that's Mark 1, verses 23 through 28. So, let's talk about this. This has a lot of different issues in this passage that we can talk about. 4 different things that I'm going to bring up today that pertain to our lives, actually. So the first thing you'll notice is the demon-possessed man was in the synagogue. Seems kind of strange that the demon-possessed man was hanging around in a synagogue. Kind of odd. But anyway, he was there. So, and it seemed like he was just living his normal life there in the synagogue, but he was still a demon-possessed man. So there's a book that our family is going through now, right now, called Not a Fan. And it's talking about there's fans of Christ that, they'll go along and do whatever Christ wants. But then there is people that are like devoted to Christ and, willing to give their lives for Jesus. And so that's in the church. You don't want just fans. They go, yeah, rah, rah, ree. And then when the team loses, oh, we're not so happy about that. Anyway, I would encourage you to go through that book. Read that book. It's called Not a Fan. And they also have a Bible study. If you can access Right Now Media, they have an excellent Bible study with that. And it's called Not a Fan. So anyway, the question you might ask is, could there be demon-possessed or maybe unsaved people in our churches today? The answer is yes, there could be. Hopefully not too many demon-possessed people in the church, but there's definitely going to be unsaved people in the church sitting right beside you every day that you're there, and you think they're Christians just like you are until sometime down the road, it's you're like, oh no, they're not really Christians. They're not truly following Jesus. Matthew 25 verses 31 and 32 talks about this also. Jesus says in that time he's going to separate the sheep from the goats. Let me turn there real quick. Matthew 25, 31 to 32. All right. It says this. "When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people one from another, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left." Very clearly, that's telling us the sheep and goats are living together. The Christians and non-Christians are living together right now, just doing everything together. But in the end, God's going to judge those, and he's going to separate one from the other. And you might go, hey, I thought he was a Christian all this time. And he wasn't. He wasn't truly following God. He had never committed his life to Jesus. He just happened to come to church all the time and acted like a Christian. So anyway, That's the first thing. There is the demon possessed man was in the synagogue, and he was comfortable being there, apparently. The second thing is this that you're going to note: the demon possessed man seemed to be comfortable in the synagogue till Jesus arrived. Everything was fine. That demon possessed man was there. I don't know how long, but he was there. And it was fine until Jesus came along. And then when Jesus came along, it was, oh no, this guy erupted. All right? So, and the thing I want you to see here too is the world is fine with religion until a truly devoted follower of Jesus comes along. And then it's like, oh no, you can't be like that, and then all of a sudden the Christians are haters and everything else because they're actually following Jesus. All right? And even you're going to find that even some churches are like this today, that they're fine with doing things like that, but when you're truly following Jesus and you come along and you kind of upset the fruit basket, like Jesus would be having us have us do this, then they're like, oh no, we can't do that. We've always done it this way or whatever. That's the way it is. So the world is fine with a Christian until they become a truly following Jesus. And then it's like, oh no, what are we going to do? So that's the second thing. The third thing is this. Jesus did not want any help from the demons to prove who he was. Okay? The demons were like, oh, you're Jesus. Jesus of Nazareth, actually. And he said, be quiet. Okay? He didn't want any help with them. He didn't need their help to identify who he was. Okay? My word for you today would be stay away from everything demonic. Okay? Don't mess around with it. Don't goof around with it. God doesn't want you to mix anything demonic with his word and who he is. So stay far away from that stuff. Don't even play around with it. Don't mix your horoscopes with godly principles or with your life. Don't mix your chants or sayings with what God wants. Don't mix the books or stories that you read and with what God wants in your life. And don't mix the games that you play with what God wants in your life. Don't mix that stuff with what God wants for your life. All right? Stay far away from that stuff. Don't mess with it. All right? That's the third thing is Jesus didn't want any help from the demons to identify who he was. The fourth thing is Jesus easily defeated the demon. Okay? Jesus simply said this. He said, come out of him. That's all he did. Okay? There was no chants or fancy rituals or anything. It was popular in that time, according to Josephus, the historian, that there would be guys that they could say, oh, we'll take away the demons. And they would do all kinds of elaborate things that, of course, they'd want you to pay for this service of getting rid of the demon. They do all kinds of things, and most of the times they didn't get rid of the demons. Jesus was different. He never charged to take away a demon, and he, every time the Bible records him exorcising a demon, it left, okay? So he was 100% reliable on getting rid of the demons. So that we can know that in our lives today, Jesus can easily defeat the enemy. All right? So let me just review those four things. It's the demon-possessed man was in the synagogue, and he was comfortable being there, okay? And you'll have people, non-Christians, in your church today, they'll be perfectly comfortable there. But that doesn't mean they belong there. They're truly following Jesus. The second thing is this. The demon-possessed man seemed to be comfortable in the synagogue until Jesus came. Once Jesus is in your life, the world doesn't like it too much, okay? Then the third thing is Jesus didn't want any help from the demons to prove who he was. And with that, just stay away from everything demonic, okay? Fourth is this. Jesus easily defeated the enemy, okay? He didn't have to do anything fancy. He just defeated the enemy just with his voice, all right? So that concludes for today. For the next few days, tomorrow's Thursday before Good Friday. So I'll be changing up the teaching. We'll take a break from Mark here for a little bit. And we're going to actually talk about the day before Jesus was crucified tomorrow on Thursday. And then Good Friday, we'll actually talk about the crucifixion. On Sunday, Easter Sunday morning, and I'll do a sunrise recording here, and we'll have that celebrating Easter. All right. So, Lord's blessing to you. I hope you continue to have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.